Hi everyone, it's Tamara here with another card making tutorial. This time I'm making a card for my dad's birthday, and I thought the MFT Current Sketch Challenge was perfect for the card that I wanted to create. So I'm going to be doing a layout of the scene, some Copic colouring, a little bit of ink blending to create the sky background, and card construction. So today I'll be using the stamp set, the Micest Thing. It's such a cute set, and I'll be using this little mushroom house and the gardening mouse. I'm also using the largest of the stitched mini slimline dies from MFT, and I'm just going to cut out some Copic Express at Cardstock as I'll be doing a Copic coloured scene. So I've just popped that into my MISTI, and now we'll get all our stamps laid out. Now I'm wanting to create a continuing scene with my little mushroom house and then the little gardener. So to make sure they butted up nicely against each other, it's better to stamp them separately. So I'm going to do the mushroom house first on the left hand side, and then now I'm going to line up this little gardening mouse, just lining up those little flowers so they're in like pretty much nearly touching, so that will make it look like a nice continuing scene. So I'm just going to stamp that with my Memento Tuxedo black ink, and now you can see we've got a nice continuing scene. Now with the challenge, it's kind of got a line and then kind of a darker color up the top and then light down the bottom with a heart on the left hand side. And so I thought the heart on the door of the mushroom house was perfect for that sketch challenge. So I'm going to now just make up some masks because I will be doing that cloudy sky to create the top portion of the sketch. So I'll set that aside and we'll do some coloring now. So I'm kind of doing a kind of darker base, mushroomy base down the bottom. I initially put the colors that I wanted first, but I ended up going in later on with a darker green. So I didn't think the BG90 was just giving me the shadowing that I needed. So in the end, I actually grab out the BG93, and it gives me the bit of contrast that I need to create my shadows. So sometimes when you lay down the colors, you might just not think your shadow areas are popping. So make sure you go back in with a darker color to get the effect that you need. So I will have all the colors like up in the left hand corner while I color, but I will have all of them listed in the description box below if you want to refer to them at a later stage. So now we'll start with our mushroom top. So I've just gone in with my lightest color just to lay down where I'm going to want my shadow areas to be. So I'm going to be having the light source coming from the right hand side of my card. So all my shadows are going to be over the left hand side. Now I was going from the 46 to the 14, but it wasn't kind of blending out as nicely as I wanted. So I find doing the tip to tip just makes the blending out of those colors so much easier. So I've blended that out now. Now then that's kind of blended out, I'll go in with the 14, then the R12. And again, I'm just doing the tip to tip because it just wasn't blending out as smoothly as I wanted. So I'm doing the tip to tip with the R12 on the R14. And then we'll go in with our initial color, our lightest color, the R11. And I do go off again and do that again off camera, but using exactly the same technique just to get a bit of a darker look on that left-hand side. Now for our white, you don't want to just leave those little dots just plain white. So we want to add a little bit of shadowing to them. So I've just used my C's to create a bit of a shadow. So try and leave as much white space as you can so that you can get that like white look, but still have some kind of dimension to those white dots on our mushroom. So we've painted up the door, and now we'll just paint like a little window of that heart. And now we'll get our greenery done down the bottom. So I'm laying in my YG07. So you only really needed two colors because they're quite small. So you just want a contrasting color and then another color to kind of, blend that out. So I use the YG07 as the base and the YG11 to blend that out. And I use the same colors for the grass that they're going to be standing on. So now we'll get our little hearts done, and again, because they're quite tiny, I'm using one darker color and then blending that out with a lighter color with the R11. So sometimes you only need like a 2-color combination, but you do want to make sure the colors are quite far apart so you do get that contrast for your shadow areas. So now we'll get our mouse colored up. So I just kind of wanted him to make him like a little tawny mouse. So I've gone in with my shadow color. We'll blend that out with the E70. So sometimes you can use other colors, like I used that purple to kind of create a bit of a shadow to make it easier to contrast that shadowy areas for this mouse. Then we'll go in with the E's to blend that all out. So finishing off with the E40 into the highlights, and we'll go up to his tail. And then I just wanted to, again, sometimes I want to reinforce those shadows just to make sure you've got a nice contrast. So I'm going back in with the BV20 and blending that out with the E70. Just working a little flicking motion so we get a nice blend between those colors. Go in with the E41, and then we'll finish off with our lightest color, the E40. And you can just see, just adding that extra layer of color just makes those shadows pop. And now we'll do his little face and chest. So pretty much using the same colors, but just making them a little bit lighter so they do kind of contrast to his fur. And then we'll get some color into his cute little ears. So I put in a bit of a W to create a little bit of a shadow, and then finished off with the reds. So we'll just put a little bit of a rosy cheek on it using a very similar color. And now that is him done. Now we'll finish off with our little watering can, just going in with silvers to kind of match him with our color scheme of this card. Blending it out with the C1. And then I just wanted a little bit of a red kind of pop with that heart on the front of the can. So again, just using those 2 colors. Now we want to create a little mask. So I'm going to get, I've cut them, fussy cut them off camera. So we'll get that laid on. So you don't need to worry about the end of his tail, and we're only going to be going up part way. So you can see I haven't fully fussy cut around those plants down below, but we're only needing to go up from 1 point. So we don't need to worry about fussy cutting it all out. So you just fussy cut out the part that you need. Now I've grabbed the Mini Cloud Edges stencil from MFT, and just using one single color, tumbled glass, I'm just going to do our cloudy sky. So I'm just kind of adding the color to the actual stencil and then pushing up onto the cardstock with my domed sponge applicator, and just kind of doing a heavy hand down the bottom and then lightening it up the top as I go up into that white space. So I only end up needing to do 3 lots of the cloud stencil, but then I always like to kind of ensure that that's shadowed at the top. So I'm just going to add a bit of that tumbled sky to the top of that card. And now we'll pull off our masks, and we've got this cute little scene happening below. Now I thought it looked a little bit bare without that grass going all the way along, so I've just grabbed out my YG07 and YG11, the colours that I originally used for that, and we're just going to ground that whole scene down below. So I'm just kind of going up a little bit on those corners and just creating that grass all the way along. Now I've got some blue cardstock, so I did test it against some white and other colours, but I thought this blue worked really well. So I've grabbed out my Friskars Trimmer, and we're going to create a slimline card which is 6 inches by 6 inches, and then we're going to just score that at 3 inches. And then I've grabbed my Teflon bone folder, give that a nice burnish, and I'm just going to now get our sentiment on there. So I'm going to just pop it in the top right hand corner because I thought that was a nice spot with those clouds. We'll get our sentiment up the top, just making sure that's lined up. Attach it to the front of our Misty, and I hadn't used that one before, so I've just given it a quick rub, and using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, I'm going to just give that a double stamp so I've got a nice impression of that sentiment. Now I don't often show myself doing the inside of cards. A lot of the time I'll make a card and then leave the inside for later on, and then I need to do 20 of them all at once. So I'm trying to be good now, like Marty, and actually get them done as I go. So now I've got another sentiment on the inside, and I thought that cute little love heart kind of conversation looked really cute, so I've added that as well. So we'll give that a double stamp, and now the inside of our card is ready to go. I've already popped some glue on the back of my front panel and just making sure I'm putting it on the right side before I press it down. And this is the finished card for this tutorial. I thought this little house worked perfectly with that little love heart and that kind of feature on the left hand side to go with that sketch challenge, and then the cloudy sky kind of making up the top portion of that sketch challenge. My dad loved this card, so I am so happy that he did, and I'm so glad that I'm able to share it with you. If you did like this tutorial, please click the like button, and if you'd like to see any future videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.